And yesterday, Egyptian president said that not a single boat of illegal immigrants has left Egypt for Europe since 2016. What do you think about his statement?
So I don't have the exact numbers to hand. I don't believe that's true based on what I've read. I recently found a report by the EU Commission, which has documented 3,500 boat departures from Egypt. That was in the first 5 months of 2022. And I believe that was 3 times the number from the previous year. So I don't think that can be true. But it is correct that there are far, far fewer boats leaving that coastline, and most Egyptians have to resort to smuggling rings to get across into Libya and then across the central Mediterranean.
Yeah, you said in your report that the Egyptian were the most common nationality detected crossing the Mediterranean, accounting for 20% over the first 5 months of 2022.
Yes.
Do you think that the Egyptian government is aware about these numbers?
I think they must be, because there is quite heavy surveillance of their borders, particularly the Egyptian-Libyan border crossing. The impression I got from speaking to Hussein Baoumi, who's the Amnesty researcher, is there's little interest in people leaving the country, but more interest in smugglers bringing people and goods over the border from Libya into Egypt. So there's been quite heavy surveillance and militarization of those borders. There was a report by a French investigative site called Disclose, which revealed the role of French aerial surveillance in enabling deadly airstrikes on civilians on the Egyptian-Libyan border. So I believe they must be aware of the numbers of people leaving the country.
Yeah, and comparing to 10 years ago, Kathrin, why that the number of illegal Egyptian immigrants is higher now?
Compared to 10 years ago?
Yeah.
According to the people I've been speaking to, I think it is mostly to do with the extreme levels of poverty in the country. All 3 men that I spoke to left because they just couldn't make a living. Again, this researcher I spoke to interviewed a lot of young men in Libya who'd arrived recently. So there were men who'd arrived after 2011, and that was predominantly to escape violence or for political reasons. But a lot of the most recent migrants appeared to be migrating for economic reasons. Yeah. And he recalls speaking to a lot of these young men appear to come from the more impoverished governance of Egypt. And he said that when he spoke to these young men, who, by the way, were mostly 20, like teens, like sort of mainly like under the age of 20, they spoke about going to Libya to earn money as almost as a matter of routine. So their family would say to them, now it's time for you to go to Libya. So the most recent migrants, I'd say, would be, based on my research, based on the people I've spoken to, appear to be driven by poverty.